I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
And he's steaming mad.
He is out.
Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
Van Tippen has won the ball game.
Alabama has beaten Auburn!
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.
Hello and welcome into the Total Chad Sports Podcast. Nothing but the Chad. What up, Razor Scooter? Ankle trauma. What a name. First of all, we have to acknowledge said name. Because this man's Razor Scooter ankle trauma. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being in the Total Chad Sports Podcast. What is this, number 85? I think I put it on the list. Number 85 on the list? We've been this far? When we get to 100, we'll do something crazy. We'll do some fun stuff. Eventually, we need to start implementing guests. Eventually, we just got to start getting people on. But we have to have, like, a reasonable time. I feel like because I'm so late in the day, it's a problem. Earlier, I could not get my Google account to connect. And it wasn't connecting to my phone. Because it usually has that little option where you press yes. And it was not working. The authentication app was not working on my phone. So that was a problem right at the beginning of the stream. So I was trying to get on a little earlier. It didn't work out. But I looked at my phone and I was like, shit, this does not work. So now it is sending me a code. Now it's just doing it to where it sends me a code to my phone. It used to send me yes or no, but now it doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't work. It says it's connected, but I don't know why it will not work. All right. So we wanted to talk about certain things. Clearly, we're already past those. We're already on to the Final Four. We're already on to certain other things. But let's get some other things out of the way. Make sure you follow us on social. TikTok, Instagram, Straight Flexin', YouTube, Twitter, all them places, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook. Just search at Guathany Chad, at Coach Grizzle TV, at Coach Grizzle. You will find us anywhere. You will pretty much find the Total Chad Sports Podcast anywhere. You can literally just type in on YouTube, TCSP. I had to think about that before I said it because I almost said it wrong. Because sometimes I'll type it and forget it, and I'll be like, TSCP. No, that doesn't work. That's not right. It's not the Total Sports Chad Podcast. It's the Total Chad Sports Podcast. So I do screw up from time to time. We're no expert. We're no, I consider myself an expert because I've been doing this for almost a decade, I guess. We're getting pretty close. We've been wanting to talk sports for probably a decade. We're probably close to talking sports for about a decade, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling with the podcast. You can hit it up on YouTube. You can hit us up on Twitch. You can be a part of the channel. It's literally right here. I actually got that right this time. It's actually right here, so you can see whoever's talking. We do a lot of different things. We talk sports. We talk pop culture. We talk history. We always show the love to a great stream on YouTube, and that's History Marsh, because that's literally, we either watch YouTube shorts where it's something sports related or something history related, or we watch some form of documentary and or some sort of learn how to do this move or something, because we're always learning. We're always trying to get better throughout. We're always trying to be able to talk about certain things, and we also try to bring certain types of things to the podcast. That's why we have gaming. We have the option to flip back and forth between screens when we're talking about certain things. Like when we talk about how Alabama just got absolutely dominated, which we're not going to talk a huge amount of that because we're already past that. Alabama got beat by 20. Nobody could make a shot to save their life. Cooper Flag and Canoopel. Is that his name? Canoopel? Whatever that dude's name is. They dominated. Canoopel with 21. Flag with 16. Duke's good. Back again since what? They won it in 2015? Whoever, as a head coach, wins it, it's going to be their first ever national title as a head coach. Will Sampson retire? Will Bruce Pearl retire if they win or lose in this last game? A lot of people have been talking about that. It's like certain things that are going on like that. So we shall see. Auburn's moving on. It's their second one. We are going to talk about them torpedo bats. What do you hate more? First of all, let me ask you a question, Head of Steel. What do you hate more? What do you want to see gone more? Torpedo bats or the tush push? I asked that question, and I wonder which one is more annoying in sports. Because, I mean, look, we were going to talk about basketball, but we're already beyond that. Congratulations to Auburn. Big winners over Michigan State. Janai Broome got hurt, came back, pulled a Paul Pierce, didn't get in the wheelchair, though. Went out, came back in. Boom, boom, boom. They're moving on. Second ever Final Four. You got Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston. I had the damn Final Four if Tennessee had done their job. One off. I still have Duke winning. And they're supposed to be playing Florida. But who knows? It could be Duke and Auburn. I don't think it's going to be Houston and Auburn or Houston and Florida. Probably going to be Duke and Auburn. Maybe Duke and Florida. Florida beat the crap out of Auburn at Auburn last time they played. But have you heard of the Aqua Bats? Have you heard of the Aqua Rangers? Do you remember the Power Rangers when they were the Aqua Rangers? They were like the little water rangers. That was probably one of the coolest ones. People don't know about that. People don't talk about that one enough. Because Turbo was like right after the Ninja Rangers. So, let's see. Hold on. All right. What were we going to talk about? Torpedo bats. So there's already so my stance on it. The Yankees. Okay, they're playing the Brewers, who are absolute dog shit apparently this year. So are the Braves. Don't get me wrong. So are the Braves. Big Braves fan over here. So are the Braves. But, granted, yes, they hit all these home runs. They scored all these runs, blah, blah, blah. All right, the Braves last year hit 20. They got 21 runs in 2 games, okay? Had 32 hits in 2 games. And no one in the media went crazy. No one said anything about, what amazing this team is, blah, blah, blah. It just said, whatever. The Yankees do something like this, beat a really bad Brewers team, have most of their team, if not the only person that I think really is of importance in this situation with the torpedo bats is Aaron Judge, and he's not even using one. So there's certain people, Bellinger, who I think there's a couple other people that are using bats on the Yankees. Like, they've been using this since spring. If this is something that is something going to completely change Major League Baseball, where other teams are going to do it, where apparently we're over here seeing stuff on Twitter where people are talking about the Braves are signing off for this and blah, blah, blah. And hopefully it was an April Fool's joke. But hopefully they could just find something. That's the problem with the Braves. They just can't hit the ball to save their damn life. We'll get into that in a minute. But the torpedo bats, they've been using it since spring. Why haven't they been just generating all these crazy runs in spring? Have we not just not paid attention to that at all because it's spring training and we don't give a shit? So, I just think that if it's something so huge and it's going to change something, maybe it's just they beat a really bad Brewers team. Maybe it was just that. Maybe we'll figure this out over the stretch of the next 2 weeks or something, or just over this week. and see what happens with the Yankees. I haven't even checked any other scores, seen what they've done, other than, they've hit a few home runs in that one series. How are they doing in the second series? Is it mind-blowing? I haven't looked at that. I don't know that. But there's so many players. There was I read something where somebody had a list of players that are using it. I think Paul Goldschmidt's using it. There's a couple other people that are using the bat. I think Tatis is using it. So there's a few people that are using the bat. And the fact that, we haven't been able to use, we haven't figured it out. We could only just use steroids back in the day. It took us 20 plus years to finally go, okay, well, at least, or not even just 20 plus years. It took however long it's been since we've normalized making bats for the MLB and how they've been curved right and they've been shapen and blah, blah, blah. And then you basically make a aluminum bat that kids use in Little League, but it's a wooden bat. It's literally a aluminum bat that's wood. And someone made a joke. One of my friends on Discord was like, why don't we just have metal bats? You will fucking kill somebody in the MLB if you have a metal bat. We might need nets around everything if you start using metal bats. We may not have pitchers anymore if you use metal bats. So that would be a terrible idea. But the fact that they're just destroying the ball and that people are going crazy over it and that people are saying, hey, I want to use this bat. I need to get this bat. I just think that the media is running too crazy with it. I think a lot of things, it's not illegal apparently. So it's just like the tush push. Figure it out. It's just like the shift. Figure it out. Even though the shift got outlawed, could the bat get outlawed? I highly doubt it because I feel like it's not cheating in a way. Say what you want. But we'll see over this course of the next couple of weeks to All-Star break to, for the rest of the year where guys are using torpedo bats and how much different and how much of an improvement it made on their stats and on just hitting the ball and their power. Guys that normally don't hit for power, then all of a sudden are hitting for power because of this or getting on base more. It's just kind of one of those things. So we'll see. Will it be implemented in the minor leagues? Could I see where I'm watching a Trash Pandas game against the Columbus Clingstones, right? Let's say that's happening. And let's say Cole Fontenelle for the Trash Pandas, who's on the opening day roster, and we'll talk about that in a second. Literally, let's say he's up there with a torpedo bat. Are we going to see that? Is Mike Trout going to walk out with a torpedo bat? Is he going to start using that? He's already playing right now. But if I'm looking at the minors, am I going to see something like that where they're like, oh, look at this guy. Look at the guy above me. He's using this. It's working, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if it works down here. Why isn't it something when we're all trying to change the game, we're trying to make it better, we're trying to just speed it up, we're trying to do all these types of things because of the TV market, we're trying to sell commercials, we're trying to do all this thing because I was told by a very smart man one time that it's all a TV show. It really is all a TV show. They just want to make money as much as possible. So they're going to try to do certain things to make it more entertaining and have more eyes on it and make more money off of it. So when we were adding bases, we were doing certain types of things. We're doing robotic umpires. Why don't we take the torpedo bat, if it's something we've known for a while and it's improving and working, why don't we use that in the minors? Oh, wait, because if it starts working, I guess, maybe I'm coming on to something. If it starts working in the minor leagues and guys start hitting crazy and pitchers start looking awful, what are we going to start thinking? Because we've already gotten to that point where literally pitchers have an advantage already, making up pitches, doing certain things in the lab, trying to figure out the best possible way to strike guys out. When you're watching, if you go to a minor league game, especially at the Trash Pandas, you can see guys looking at a tablet. You can see guys looking at a sheet where it's like a book or something where you can just go through it and it has certain things that they've talked about and they've gone over. So they're figuring out ways. They can already figure out ways as a pitcher to try to beat batters. And then just batting has gone down because I just think guys have slumps. I guess guys it's not as good. So if it does work, let's see if it works. I don't want to say it's not a huge thing, it's not a huge factor. I don't know. But we shall see on what the torpedo bats do and how much they improve the game of Major League Baseball. Because someone said, oh, well, wait, they should have done the steroid era. They should have just done this torpedo bat thing. No, steroid era was pretty fun. Steroid era, I'm not going to lie. Everyone really loved baseball. And the thing is about no one really cared until, like, all of a sudden, all the games are too long. All of a sudden, this, and that. We got to speed up the game. We got to do certain things. We got to make it, we got to generate more runs. We got pitchers that can't even make when guys were doing this against the steroid era, pitchers were going a full length. They were going 7, 8, 9 innings, maybe 7 or 8. Guys now are not doing that. Guys aren't doing that now. So why does it even matter? Pitchers should still be beating the guys. They don't have to go as long as in the innings. So I think it is what it is. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it works for them and how it works for everybody else that's using it, and see how many people get hooked on it and start using it again, or using it as well, and then it starts becoming a phenomenon. But like I said, I want to see it in the minor levels, because, I mean, guys are going to have to figure out how to get used to it if they're going to use it, right? And what if it does improve their game? Will it mess with rosters? Will it do certain types of things where be like, okay, I'm looking at, Tucker Flint in the outfield. Could he do something for the Trash Pandas where he's hitting crazy because he's got a torpedo bat or something like that, and could he get called up? Could he do certain things? Can he use it? Will it work in Salt Lake? Like, can he use it in the next level? Like, will they use it in certain levels? I don't know. I mean, I think they would allow it. I think they would allow guys even in the minor league level to maybe be able to do that. But I don't know in the minor league level if they have the time, the effort to do certain things where they're going to, like, pay a lot of money for a player, unless it's like a real absolute stud where they're going to pay a lot of money to make bats like that and have bats on hand for that one player or two players. Like, I think more players, especially in the minor league level, would have to use that. And I haven't looked to see if they can use it. I'm sure they can, because I wouldn't think it's any different. Because if they get called up, and like I said, if they get called up, they should be able to use it. So I am not a big fan of it. It's working for a team that a lot of people despise, including me. I'm a Braves fan. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens throughout. I don't really know too much on it other than that. I just had asked the question multiple times. I don't know what's more annoying. Is the tush push more annoying, or is the torpedo bats more annoying? And I think Head of Steel said both are awful. What's going on, Captain Yorkie? Thank you. I still haven't heard about the Aqua Bats, but I have heard about the Aqua Rangers. But, it is what it is. We haven't even talked about that. We haven't scratched the surface on that. So, by the time we're talking about this, and who knows, because we were talking about how bad the Braves are not hitting, or how bad the Braves cannot even sniff the ball. They've had one hit with runners in scoring position since I've talked about this. Okay? They've also, right now when I'm talking, they either could be 1-5 or 0-6 right now. So we'll figure out what happens there. Because they're playing the Dodgers right after they just got swept 0-4 against the Padres. Because they're on a West Coast travel for the next 2 series, and then they come back home to play the first place Miami Marlins. So we'll see what happens by then. But through 5 games, because we're in the 6th game right now, and it just started as I'm talking. So whenever you hear this, they might have 24 hits in 6 games. But to have 22 hits in 5 games, and then 8 runs in 5 games, that's pretty bad. When you're 28th in the league in hits, when a year ago at this time in 2 games you had 32 hits, just above the Twins and the Astros. It's a bad schedule for the Braves. Yeah, and luckily it's not within the division. The games that really count, the games that really matter, I'm sure there's going to be tiebreakers and all that kind of stuff down the road. But when you come back home and you got to play the Marlins, you got to beat the shit out of the Marlins. You got to do things that you've done in years past where it's like, okay, you can't be like 2021 where you're losing to the Nationals and you could have lost 0-5 then. You could have started 0-5 then. Somehow won the World Series in 2021 though. Worst start since then. I guess now because they're 0-5, I guess it's before that too. They almost started 0-5. They had a postponed game against the Nationals. When you lose 2 back-to-back against division rivals, but somehow end up winning the World Series, that's crazy. AA is going to have to work some magic. Especially, we haven't even talked about how Profar has an 80-game suspension for doing some illegal PEDs or something like that. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? That's the Braves for you. Sean Murphy, though's raking. Don't know how much that helps. That's a catcher. We'll see what happens through AAA, maybe AA. Somebody shows up. Somebody comes out of nowhere, maybe. Highly doubt it. Gonna have to sign somebody, maybe. Does Jorge Soler make a third trip around the sun? Just like Jesse Chavez? Bryce Elder making an appearance back on the team again. Mind your elders, first of all. I'm sick and tired of everyone talking crap about Bryce Elder, first of all. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the rest of the team. Because nobody can hit. And that's a problem. And that was a problem that Olsen had last year. They need to hit the ball. Guys need to stay healthy. Guys got to stay alive until Lopez comes back, Strider comes back, Acuna comes back, especially the outfield. You gotta have Kelenic come out of nowhere. He's got to go crazy, play good. Dela Cruz maybe. I mean, Azuna can play outfield, but guys have to hit. That core team from 2021, where a lot of guys were hitting and getting on base. Completely different than what it is now. And it's guys that like have these huge slumps for no reason. And then when guys start getting on fire, they have problems. They get hurt. It just seems like it's not so much a curse. It's just like it's just a bad hit on the hand or a bad flop or a bad pop somewhere. I mean, it's just crazy. The pitching. Starting pitching is actually pretty decent. The bullpen, you can't blame the bullpen when nobody's hitting. Because it's just like every single year, it's either the bullpen or it's the lineup is having a massive slump. It's better to have a massive slump right now and then all of a sudden turn it up. Calm down, everybody. Aaron Rodgers said RELAX. Relax. All right? That's probably the best advice that weirdo has ever said. All right? It's early. There's still life. And I have a lot of faith in the Braves. Especially within their own division. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm excited for opening day. I don't know if I'm going to be there at Truist. Definitely going to be at opening day for the Trash Pandas. And of course the Trash Pandas, they have their opening day roster. So, I was trying to figure out what I had or what I was going to talk about. This is a really good roster, I'm going to tell you that right now. Sonny DeShera's back. Glad to see him back. Kind of took a little off for a little bit. I think he was also hurt. They really didn't get talked about too much. You really didn't hear too much about him being gone. And a lot of people ask questions about that. And we'll see what happens when he comes back and see if he gets those same questions and see what happens what he does throughout the season. One of my favorite players, Tucker Flint, going to be bolstering that outfield. David Calabrese, Nelson Rada, really good candidates on this team. You got Christian Moore out of Tennessee. You got Mac McCroskey. Denver Guzman. He's like 20, 21. The dude's like young as hell. I think Rada's young too. Sam Brown in the infield. Cole Fontenelle. Other than my favorite players. Cole Fontenelle and Tucker Flint probably are two of my favorite players on the Trash Pandas. For real. All last year, calling their name, doing certain things, hitting home runs, getting guys in scoring position, getting on base. It's a really good roster. We'll see what happens with the pitching. That's always been suspect for the Trash Pandas. So it's gonna be fun to watch. I don't know too many names on their pitching wise. Certain guys have been called up. Certain guys aren't there anymore. But that core of those infielders and outfielders, that's huge. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a lot of fun watching them this season. They got what is it? I think Chattanooga. I think they got the Lookouts at home on Friday. They got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then they play another series next week. Probably going to be at, I think it's Education Day on the next Wednesday, so I'm going to be at the next dog night. Definitely going to see Ladybird and I. She's on the bed over there. Ladybird! Yep. She loves that night. I love that night. Great night. Great fun atmosphere to be able to bring the pooch to the game. Also, we didn't talk about some other things, but we'll talk about that later because it's also referring to another dog night. But we were talking about, let's see, I don't know why it's not working. Let's see. Let me see here. Let me flip back to this screen so I can fix it real quick. Something was not up. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now it should be right. So, we also wanted to talk about the new team. No longer the Mississippi Braves. They're the Columbus Klingstones, whatever you want to call them. Peach Pits. Pretty awesome. I want to get a hat. I would love a hat if you're listening, Columbus. Because I'm going to get another one of these. I know that for real. But David Fletcher, probably the oldest player on the team, if not is the oldest player on the team, the knuckleballer. The guy that can play infield, and he can hit, and he can pitch, and he can pass. He can do all of it. Fletcher can do all of it. It's going to be a lot of fun watching him. Drew Compton. There's a couple of names that are fairly new that are getting a chance to that were from either from low single A ball or from college. You got Austin Machado. He's going to get a chance. Drew Compton, like I said. There was a couple of other ones I saw earlier. I think it's Blake Burhalter, one of the pitchers. He's going to be there. Lucas Braun's going to be pretty good. Pretty sure he was with, I think he got called up, but he was with single A. I think he was in single A last year. Shanahan? He's going to be, or Shanahan, he's going to be, that's his first time in double A. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Ian Mejia. I wonder if Ian Mejia is going to get a chance back with the Stripers and then see what happens if he can get called up by the Braves. See if they might need him this year. But they need to find something. They need to find something in the outfield. And I don't know what they're going to find in the double A. I don't think they're going to be able to find. I don't know who in this outfield right here. I don't think anyone, you know what I mean, is going to come out of nowhere like a Michael Harris II. Like I just don't. I don't think so. It's going to be kind of tough to see what happens and see what they get out of the Braves through this season. So we'll see what happens with that outfield. Like I said, Ozuna can play outfield. We've already made that joke twice. Ozuna can play outfield, so don't think that he can't. So we've been rocking and rolling. Been trying to break down a lot of this. I'm not going to go crazy long tonight because I wasn't really going to talk about too much. I just wanted to get most of what I was going to talk about this weekend down. So since we've talked about the Braves, we talked about the Trash Pandas, we talked about the Klingstons, we're talking about let's see. We talked about March Madness and the Final Four. I already have my prediction. I have Duke winning. I've already said that. Duke's going to win over Florida. Could possibly be Auburn, obviously, because whoever wins that game will play Duke, because I don't think it's going to be Houston. But I could be wrong. Clip it. I don't know. I could be wrong. I can be wrong every now and then. We're still talking about this. The cotton row, we're going to do that at the end of May. That's in a month. That is in a month, in like 2 months, at the end of next month. So we're going to do that as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited for that. We've already signed up for that because we're an idiot. We're going to do the 10K because we're an idiot. And we don't run because we're dumb. Yep. Trying to get not fat, as my doctor said. Doctor told me to lose a little bit of weight. Said I was fat. Says I need to change up my diet. You're getting to that point when you're too old. When you're getting too old, you need to change up your diet. So your doctor tells you you're too fat. So we're going to probably end up doing that. So there's that too. That's what's actually going to help us a little bit, is that as well. So what were we going to talk about? I forgot. I totally forgot. We were sitting here getting crazy with it because we're dreading having to run a 10K that we've done for like the last 3 years now. So it is a lot of fun. It is actually a lot of fun. We were going to talk about another dog night. That's what we were talking about. We were going to break down another dog night. So there's another dog night, and it's at Huntsville City FC. It is Dog Days, okay? It's on 4/20. Yeah, baby. That's a Sunday. 4/20 on a Sunday, 6 o'clock. They play Chicago. Chicago 2. As HGFC, I think they were, last time I looked, they were 7th in the East. They're like 11th overall. Really good chance to make the playoffs, hopefully, this year. And if they can just keep winning. But they are literally what one of the students at my school said, HCPKs. They're the HCPKs. That's what her and her dad calls it. They're the HCPKs. Again, went into PKs, won the game. Tied the... No. Sorry, because it's soccer terms. Tied the game, won the game on PKs. So both teams got 1 point. HCFC gets the additional 2 points in a win. Over Philadelphia, who they hate, like, I think there is a kind of a shitty rivalry between those teams. It's like we can't travel up there. The only people that travel up there are the people that work for the team, and then maybe a couple of Richies that can actually get up there and maybe want to see some of these fields that they play on. Because I guarantee you there were no Philadelphia fans there, but you could hear the chirping from the players. I mean, the goalie alone, one of the players that scored I think he scored the 2 goals in that game. He banging on the edge and messing up the siding. It's like, man, F your siding. But that was a good game. I think it's a good time. I think it's something that locally here is really good for us. We're able to not necessarily pack out, but if it's certain nights, they pack out every night at hockey, obviously, with the Havoc. The Trash Pandas, it's kind of hard to do over 6 game stretch. I mean, a lot of people, obviously, Friday, Saturday night, Sunday matinees are usually pretty busy because people don't have to go to work and everything like that. But during the midweek, that's tough. But soccer on a given night, a little over 3,500 people were there. On average, last year, or at least the first year, was over 4,000. It's a place that holds about 6. So it's something that, it works. It's something that a lot of people around here enjoy. I mean, for the amount of soccer fields that are in this town, you would think that there are more soccer fans that would come out of the woodwork. First of all, we need less volleyball courts. This is my implement on the city. Less sand volleyball courts, and less soccer fields, more wrestling mats, more wrestling facilities, more just two-way facilities where, I mean, half of it could be, I would love to own a facility where like half of it is a wrestling ring, or like it'd be like 2 mats, and then the other side can be like an open area. Like you can have basketball, you can do football, you can do whatever you want. Like I just think there needs to be a big open area like that. There needs to be something where it's not just the main 3 sports that I get it, everyone's into. But I think that volleyball and soccer, like that's the biggest thing here. Like that's what's crazy about this kind of thing. And I get it. Like I grew up playing soccer in the same area and the same and seeing the same love and the same growth and everything like that that's come from this area. So, I mean, it is a huge thing. It is a huge market. And to be able to get certain events and everything like that in this area because of what we have, I get that. But it would be kind of cool to see something like that where we get more of an option where it's not just wrestling. People like to grapple. People like to do jiu-jitsu and everything like that. So, I mean, there's other types of ways, martial arts. I mean, there's just other types of ways to give people an option to do something outside of what is just the main grouping of sports. So not everyone's going to be sitting here watching that kind of, or wanting that kind of thing. But there should be more of an option like that because, I mean, like, I get it. Like, we all want to play and do that kind of thing and be outside. And I guess that's one thing that's different is it's more of an indoor thing. So it might be a little harder to do and maybe a little bit harder for people to gravitate around, especially here, because it's not those types of things. Those sports are not obviously as big here like they are in other types of other states like Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I mean, shoot, even just in Florida or Tennessee or Georgia. I mean, it is a much more competitive and bigger market in other states, and it is kind of difficult when you're pretty good around here and you go out and you find out real quick you get beat by a really good, and they could be like a 2A, 3A, but 2A, 3A in a different state is completely different than how it is around here. So it is it's just a little bit different type of competition, and then it's just certain players or certain sports are carried certain ways around here. So we wanted to break that down. We were at the game. We saw the game winner. It was a great night. Excited for their dog days on 420. I'm at the night before on Saturday. So I think I'm going to go to that, obviously, and work that, and then bring the dog on dog nights. Because it's it's a good time. And to be able to do that, be able to bring the dog and kind of just hang out, that's going to be a good time too. Because anytime that I can bring her anywhere, okay, she just moved. You can barely see her ear. It's a good time. So, and I'm excited for that during the Trash Panda games. It's going to be every Wednesday. When you go and bring your dog to the Trash Panda games, which is kind of cool, the proceeds will go to a local shelter that works there. The one that my parents, I are all affiliated with, the Greater Humane Society. So you go there, you donate $1, however much money you want to donate. You sign a little waiver, and you can bring your dog to the game. So that's what I'm excited for. That's going to be a lot of good time. So let's finish up with On This Day in History. We're also going to implement a little bit new stuff to the podcast. We're going to have a little bit more interactive stuff in between. When we go to the Be Right Back screen, there's going to be an interactive chat, all that kind of stuff. So when you're seeing the chat go throughout, you're on it, obviously. But we're going to implement more of like a Discord channel. If you want to have a voice, and then we're going to start implementing guests because we need to at least start having people on here so you don't just have to hear me ramble. But that's kind of what the point of the podcast is a Total Chad Sports podcast. But we do need to have some guests on, and we do need to have some people, and we need to pay homage to a few people too, and have them on here and get them on here and talk and just break down some stuff and just talk some stuff. Just give them a platform, let them have a good time. Not just make it about me, even though it is the Total Chad Sports podcast, but not make it about me. Make it about other people that are really good at their craft and want to just get on and do exactly what I'm doing right here. Just be able to talk about whatever. It can be to one person. It can be to 84 people. It can be to 174 people. It can be to 1 million people. I'm going to sit here and give you the same energy and do everything I'm in my power to make a good stream and talk about what I love. I love my city. I love everything about my teams that I care for. I try to break down. I try to find facts. I try to seem at least knowledgeable about what I talk about. I don't try to sit here and just make it up as I go. I try to get it right. If we mess up, yeah, it is. You can tell me if I mess up. I get it. I make mistakes. But I know I'm good at it. I know I'm talented. I know that I have talent to be able to do this when I want to. And I greatly appreciate everyone that's a part of the podcast and a part of the channel and that likes and subscribes and tries to be at least giving me the platform to be here and talk about these certain types of things and be in that audience and being a great audience and continuing to support everything that I'm trying to bring to y'all. So again, I thank everyone. And I think now we will go. We said we were. I think now we're definitely going to go to On This Day in History. All right. Here we go with our events. Justinian I, 527, Byzantine Emperor Justin I names his nephew Justinian I as co-ruler and successor to the throne. I think this was like right. This isn't this when it was like falling. I'm pretty sure this. I'm pretty sure this is right around when it was falling, or was going off the deep end. In 705, Greek Pope John VII chosen as successor to John VI. In 792, Maya city Piedras Negras celebrates a military triumph over nearby settlement of Pomona and depicted in Stela 12. How do they know? Like, I mean, like they must find that. I mean, that's pretty dope. Like, that's pretty damn cool to be able to find something from so far back, and to find like where they've been on the minute on a coin, written down, drawn, whatever. Like, it's just crazy because it's like I like to find more of the history over here than the known history, obviously, because like I saw something that's like we won't even know like 95% of history, basically. Like, even though like there's a lot that we've probably missed. Could you imagine like the number of cities that have been destroyed and burned to the ground and rebuilt over, and just all like I like seeing those pictures of like cities in Italy or whatever, where it's from like Greek and Roman, the Middle Ages, like, and then it's like all these different styles of buildings stacked on top of each other. I think that's just absolutely cool. In 1064, the body of the first bishop of Tournai, Saint Eleutherius of Tournai, is translated and moved. In 1318, Berwick upon Tweed is captured by the Scots from the English. In 1340, Danish squire and national hero Niels Ebbesen kills German Prince Gerhard III of Holstein in his bedroom, ending the 1332 to 1340 interregnum in Denmark. In 1504, English guilds and corporations go under state control. Recapture of Hormuz. In 1515, Portuguese fleet under Alfonso de Albuquerque capture the Persian fortress of Hormuz, renaming it the Fort of Our Lady of the Conception. Could you imagine changing it to that? Something long like that? That's just unnecessary. That's just like, hey, we won. I'm going to change it to this. I know it has to do with their religion, but still. 1572, Waterguzen capture Brielle from the Spaniards. Waterguzen capture Brielle from the Spaniards during the 80 Years' War. 80 Years' War. Sitting there fighting a war for 80 years. You're not going to sit there and end it eventually? Gaining the first foothold. It's like the 100 Years' War. Gaining the first foothold on land for what would become the Dutch Republic. In 1663, Gourmet in the Netherlands finds unwed mothers a penalty of 50 guilders. I have no idea what that means. In 1693, Cotton Mather's 4-day-old son dies and witchcraft is blamed. That's wild. In 1724, Henry Pelham becomes English Minister of War. In 1724, Jonathan Swift publishes Drapier's Letters, a series of 7 pamphlets against the privacy minted copper coinage Swift saw as inferior and corrupt. The ruins of Pompeii in 1748. The ruins of Pompeii are rediscovered by Spaniard Roque, Joaquin de Alcubierre. Joaquin de Alcubierre. The ruins of Pompeii still standing for over 2,000 years, and I've been to it. It's pretty cool. The ruins of Pompeii are pretty awesome. And then to be able, the fact that I was able to see Mount Vesuvius, like in the crater, was insane. In 1776, Friedrich von Klinger's Sturm und Drang premieres in Leipzig. It's Leipzig. I think it's Leipzig. In Leipzig. In 1778, New Orleans businessman Oliver Pollock creates the dollar symbol. That was actually created in 1778. That's pretty cool. 1792, Groning's feminist Etta Groning's feminist Etta Palm demands women's right to divorce. In 1803, French laws rules the use of intention. In 1822, Italian composer Luigi Cherubini becomes director of the Conservative de Paris Music College, holds position for nearly 20 years. An internal combustion engine in 1826, Samuel Morey is issued the first U.S. patent for an internal combustion engine, which he calls a gas or vapor engine. In 1850, San Francisco County government established. In 1853, Cincinnati becomes first U.S. city to employ full-time professional firefighters. Hard Times in 1854 begins serialization in Charles Dickens' magazine Household Words. The Confidence Man in 1857, Herman Melville publishes a novel, The Confidence Man, His Masquerade, on April Fool's Day in New York. In 1862, Shenandoah Valley Campaign, Jackson's Battle of Woodstock, Virginia. 1863, first wartime conscription law in the U.S. goes into effect. In 1865, the Battle of Blakely, Alabama. I'm going to look that up. Battle of Blakely, Alabama. Look that up. Battle of Fort Blakely. Oh, yeah, that's in Baldwin County. I've heard of that before. Okay, I know where that is. How far is it from... Pretty sure I may have been here. "5,000 colored troops from the United States colored troops were brought through Pensacola, Florida." I'll have to look that up. I think I've been there. I'm pretty sure I've been to this state park. I'm pretty sure my grandparents took me to this state park before. Now that I remember that. Okay. Back to what we were talking about. Battle of Five Forks. In 1865, the Battle of Five Forks. Union forces defeat Confederate forces in Virginia and recapture important railroad supply line for General Robert E. Lee's army. In 1866, U.S. Congress rejects presidential veto giving all equal rights in the U.S. In 1867, blacks vote in municipal election in Tuscumbia, Alabama. In 1867, International Exhibition opens in Paris. In 1867, Singapore, Penang, and Malacca become British Crown colonies. In 1868, Hampton Institute opens. In 1871, new constitution adopted by the German Empire. In 1872, first edition of The Standard. In 1873, British White Star steamship Atlantic sinks off of Nova Scotia. 547 die. In 1873, Mehmed Kamal's play Vatten premieres in Constantinople. In 1881, anti-Jewish riots in Jerusalem. 1881, Kingdom Post Office in Netherlands opens. In 1888, students from Rotterdam, Netherlands establish a cricket club called Rotterdamsche Cricket and Football Club Sparta, which evolves into Sparta Rotterdam. In 1889, first dishwashing machine marketed in Chicago. Gauguin leaves for Tahiti. French Peter Paul Gauguin leaves Marseille for Tahiti in 1891. 1891, London-Paris telephone connection opens. In 1891, the Wrigley Company is founded in Chicago, Illinois. In 1899, NC Mutual opens doors for business. In 1900, first edition of the Dutch newspaper The People. In 1905, SOS first adopted as a Morse code distress signal by German government. In 1905, British East African Protectorate becomes colony of Kenya. 1910, Dumitru Dan, Romania, completes a 62,137 mile walk. That's insane. I can't even run a 10K, and I'm over here. This guy's over here completing a 62,137 mile walk. That's a 100,000 meter walk. Henry Miller's Theater in 1918 opens at 124 West 43rd Street in New York City. In 1918, United Kingdom, the Royal Air Force is created from the Royal Naval Air Service and the Royal Flying Corps. In 1919, Stanley Cup Final, the Seattle Ice Arena, Seattle, Washington, with Montreal Canadiens and Seattle Metropolitans. Tied 2-1, trophy not awarded due to worldwide flu epidemic. In 1990, the influential Bauhaus School opens in Weimar, Germany, headed by architect Walter Gropius, teaching painting, sculpture, architecture, and design. In 1920 Stanley Cup Final, Mutual Street Arena, Toronto, Ontario, Jack Dara scores a hat trick as Ottawa Senators beat Seattle Metropolitans 6-1 for a 3-2 series win. In 1920, the Anglican Church in Wales de-established. In 1924, Adolf Hitler is sentenced to 5 years labor for a beer hall pushed by General Ludendorff, and he's acquitted. But General Ludendorff acquitted. 1924, Crown takes over Northern Rhodesia from British South Africa Company. 1924, Imperial Airways forms in Britain. 1924, the Royal Canadian Air Force is formed. In 1925, first transmission of Danish state radio. 1925, Hebrew University, Jerusalem, dedicated in May 9th, 1925. Montreal Maroons, Clint Benedict. Stanley Cup Finals in April sounds quaint nowadays, right? Right? We still have like a whole nother month. And like all of these are going on right now. And I said the one in 1919 where the Canadians and the Metropolitans tied 2-1, and the trophy was not awarded due to the worldwide flu epidemic. Let's see, Montreal Maroons, Clint Benedict becomes first NHL goalie to record 3 straight playoff shutouts and a 3-0 win against the visiting Victoria Cougars in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Championship Series. In 1927, the first automatic record changer introduced by his master's voice. In 1928, Chiang Kai-shek Nationalist Army crosses the Yangtze River. 1929, Austrian government of Ignaz Sepal Falls. I don't even know how to say that. In 1929, Doorn's trailer factory in Eindhoven, Netherlands opens. Louis Marx introduces the yo-yo in 1929. Louis Benuel releases Un Chien Andulo, 24-minute film. I think isn't that cat? Or dog. Chien, isn't Chien dog in French? I don't remember. 1929, Morehouse College, Spelman College, and Atlanta University affiliate. In 1930, the Blue Angels starring Marlene Dietrich in her breakthrough role premieres in Germany. Jones' 13-stroke win. In 1930, Adam golfer Bobby Jones starts his Grand Slam season by winning the Southeastern Open by 13 strokes over Horton Smith in the Forest Hills Ricker Golf Course in Atlanta, Georgia. In 1930, Chicago Cubs Leo Hartnett breaks the altitude record for a catch by gloving a baseball dropped from the Goodyear blimp 800 feet over Los Angeles, California. That's insane. Chien is dog. That's what I'm saying. It because I always say tortue chien. Tortue chien. It means turtle dog in French. It doesn't really. But tortue is turtle. Chien, I think you say shin. I think it's like shin. You say shin. Tortue shin. Turtle dog. Shin is dog. Shin is dog. Sounded Russian there. 1939, earthquake devastates Managua, Nicaragua, kills 2,000. 1931, Jackie Mitchell becomes second female after Lizzie Arlington in 1898 in organized baseball when she signs with the Chattanooga Lookouts Baseball Club. That is kind of cool. That is pretty damn cool. Literally, the Trash Banders are playing the Chattanooga Lookouts on Friday. And in 1931, Jackie Mitchell becomes the second female after Lizzie Arlington in 1898 in organized baseball. I gotta have that. I gotta post that on Twitter. That's something I gotta post on Twitter later. That's crazy. That's wild. In 1933, England cricket batsman Wally Hammond smashes 34 fours, 10 sixes in a test record unbeaten, 336 in a draw on second test against New Zealand in Auckland. Himmler, police commander in 1933, becomes the police commander of Germany. In 1933, Nazi Germany begins prosecution of Jews by boycotting Jewish businesses. Bonnie and Clyde murder in 1939. Clyde Burrow kills 2 young highway patrolmen H.D. Murphy and Edward Bryant Wheeler at the intersection of Route 114 near Grapevine, Texas. Bonnie Parker's role in the murders helped turn public perception against the gang for good. In 1935, first radio tube made of metal announced in Schenectady, New York. Lucky Luciano arrested. 1936, Charles Lucky Luciano is arrested in Arkansas on a criminal warrant from New York. In 1936, Orissa constituted a province of British India. In 1937, Aden becomes a British crown colony. In 1938, Nescafe introduces their flagship brand in Switzerland. Nescafe, I think it's Nescafe, isn't it? It's not Nescafe, it's Nescafe, isn't it? Lewis versus Thomas. In 1938, World Heavyweight Boxing Champion Joe Louis KOs Harry Thomas in the 5th round of their title bout in Chicago. Third defense for Louis. And U.S. and Pope recognize Franco. In 1939, U.S. recognizes Francisco Franco's government in Spain at the end of the Spanish Civil War. Pope Pius XII congratulates Generalissimo Franco's victory in Spain. Philippine Grammar and Dictionary. In 1940, Filipino President Quezon officially authorizes the printing and publication of the grammar and the dictionary prepared by the Institute of the National Language. Watch on the Rhine in 1941. Lillian Hellman's play Watch on the Rhine premieres in New York City. 1941, Nazis forbid Jewish access to cafes. In 1941, pro-German Rashid Ali al-Halahini grabs power in Iraq. In 1941, the blockade runner badge for German Kriegsmarine is instituted. In 1941, U.S. Navy takes over Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay. In 1942, Allied air raid on Japanese-occupied harbor Kupang, Timor, and Indonesia. In 1942, Mexico changes from 3 time zones to 2. Jan Dieters, Dutch politician, resistance fighter, and a leading member of the Communist Party of the Netherlands, is arrested by the Nazis in 1943. Japanese troops conquer Jessamy, Eastern India. 1944, the Battle of Okinawa. 1945, Battle of Okinawa. U.S. ground forces invade Okinawa during World War II in the largest amphibious assault in the Pacific Theater. 1945, World War II. Canadian troops free the Dutch cities of Doetinchem, Enschede, Borculo, and Ebergen. 1945, World War II. The rear pocket of German forces are encircled by the U.S. 9th Army and the U.S. 1st Army, eventually leading to the capture of 317,000 German troops. In 1946, 400,000 U.S. mine workers strike. In 1946, the Malayan Unionists formed the Federation of the Malay States and the Straits of Penang, Malacca. Go through a little bit more faster. Finish up right here because it's getting kind of late. Let's see if we find anything we like. 1954, fierce U.S. Army helicopter battalion forms in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Gordie Howe, fastest goal. Gordie Howe, fastest goal in 1954. Detroit Red Wings right wing Gordie Howe scores 2 goals and assists and sets a Stanley Cup playoff record for the fastest goal in the start of a game in 9 seconds in a 4-3 double overtime win over Toronto in Game 5 of the semifinals. The U.S. Air Force Academy is established in 1954. Let's see. World's biggest glass oven used in 1957. See here. First weather satellite launch, the Tiros-1 in 1960. Un-Yu elected premier of Burma for the 3rd time in 1960. Pretty dope. In 1963, New York Mets purchased future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Duke Snider from the LA Dodgers for $40,000. Snider had starred for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947 and 1957. 1964, John Lennon is reunited with his father Freddie 17 years after being abandoned at age 5. Let's see here. Anything else? John Lennon and Yoko Ono release Hoax as they're having dual sex change operations in 1970. Okay. Event of interest in 1970, U.S. President Richard Nixon signs bill limiting cigarette advertisements from the 1st of January in 1971. Let's see. 1973, Boston Celtics captain John Havlicek scores career high 54 points in 134-109 rout of Atlanta Hawks. Of course he did. And first round of Eastern Conference playoffs, hits NBA playoff record 24 of 36 field goal attempts. Probably been broken now already. Phil Esposito. I didn't know we were going to have a Phil Esposito song on here, or a sighting on here. Wins his third consecutive NHL scoring title with 130 points. Here. Helter Skelter, 1976, detailing Charles Manson's cult family, their capture, trial, conviction, aftermath premieres on CBS in 1976. In 1976, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs found Apple computer in the garage of Jobs' parents' house in Cupertino, California. Television finale, last episode of the Bob Newhart Show sitcom The Chicago One airs on CBS TV in 1978. Let's see here. 1981, CNN airs a videotape that shows that Tamara Rand predicted that Reagan is in danger from someone named Jack Humley, a hoax, in 1981. 1981, Edmonton center Wayne Gretzky has an assist, his 103rd in the Oilers' 4-4 tie with the Colorado Rockies to break Bobby Orr's 10-year mark for the most assists in a single NHL game or season. Anything? Not really. 1989, A. Bartlett Giamatti replaces Peter Uberoth as 7th commissioner of Major League Baseball, dies suddenly from a heart attack 5 months later. Warsaw Pact officially dissolves in 1991. Madness of George III, 1993. Alan Bennett's play The Madness of George III premieres in London. 1997, 69-year-old Gordie Howe begins playing AHL game with the Syracuse Crunch. Let's see here. In 2000, American boxer Chris Beard wins WBO heavyweight title after Ukrainian champion Vitaly Klitschko retires from a shoulder injury at the end of the 9th round in Berlin, Germany. Isn't he like fighting Russia now? Phelps smashes 400-meter medley record in 2007. Alan Rickman's last performance in Seminar on Broadway in 2011. Rest in peace. Here. Anything good? 2020 U.S. President Donald Trump says the U.S. strategic national stockpile is almost depleted amid widespread shortages of medical equipment to fight COVID-19. I think we're good. Let's see if there's any birthdays we'll go through. Sophie Germain, you know her, 1776. Otto von Bismarck in 1815, German Chancellor. Died in 1898. Edgar Wallace, English novelist, 1875. Wallace Beery, American circus performer, Ringling Brothers Circus and actor, 1886. Gaston Eikens, Prime Minister of Belgium, 1905. Abraham Maslow, 1908, American psychologist. I don't know any of these people. And McCaffrey, American sci-fi author, Dragon Knight, Dragon Drums in 1926, and Cambridge, Massachusetts. Debbie Reynolds, 1932, American actress and singer. Ali McGraw, 86th birthday, 1939, American actress. Phil Niekro, he died in 2020, but he was born in 1939. American Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, knuckleballer, no-hitter in 1973, 5-time MLB All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove, Milwaukee/Atlanta Braves, born in Blaine, Ohio. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Susan Boyle, she was born in 1961, Scottish pop singer. She's 64 today. Rachel Maddow, 52nd birthday, American radio and TV personality, 1973. Clarence Seedorf, 49th birthday, Dutch soccer midfielder, 1976. Randy Orton is 45. He was born in 1980. American pro wrestler. Born in Knoxville, Tennessee. Karen Killam, American. I don't know who that is. Oh, that's the dude that does the. Okay, I knew who that is. That's the Saturday Night Live guy. Okay. 1982. Logan Paul is 30. The dude's only 30. I thought that dude was 40. I thought the dude was older than me. He's younger than me. And his clown ass and his brother make all that money doing stupid shit. 1995. American YouTube personality. Now that was it. That was it for today. All right. Well, we're done with the history. We're done with the birthdays. We're done with on this day in history. Just kidding. We're not really doing now. This is time for on this day in history, but it is on this day in history. So we're getting close. It's over an hour. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna call it a night. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. We're gonna try to do one more. It'll probably be either Thursday or Friday this week. It depends on what's going on for me. But we're going to try to be able to give you one more and then maybe do one over the weekend. If not, we'll do something like gaming or something like that. We'll have a little bit of fun. So thank you so much again. Thank you so much for Razor Scooter Ankle Trauma, Head of Steel, Yorkie, everybody that was a part of the channel. Thank you so much that we're interacting and being a part of it as well. And everyone have a great night. Thank you so much for supporting the Total Chat Sports Podcast. Make sure you hit us up on any social media platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebooks, all them places. Please hit them up and like and subscribe on the YouTube and follow on the Twitch. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.